Hello everyone, my name is Steven Zapata. I'm a concept artist, illustrator, online art teacher, and former instructor at Art Center College of Design. I would like to introduce you to my new drawing course, Form from Imagination, a course designed to help you draw with confidence from your mind. Maybe you want to be a professional illustrator or designer, maybe you want to be a master with a pencil, or maybe you just want to be the best artist that you can be. Beautiful goals. But it's not always clear how to improve the work that you do from imagination. Over the past 6 months, I've taken all of the little eurekas, tips, and essential exercises that gave me confidence drawing from my mind and compiled them into a sequential course. We start with the absolute foundations, covering the scientific nature of light and shadow, how to hatch, how to create flat tones, how to render spheres and cubes, and step by step, we move through combined shapes, complex shapes, organic shapes. We cover how to simplify extremely complex subjects like the head into basic shapes so that you can handle them more easily from your head. We look at how to understand and treat details. And by the end of these 14 chapters with over 50 video lessons, you'll be ready to do complex designs from your mind with fidelity and energy. And all the demos are done in pencil on paper, so you can do all of the assignments even if you don't have a fancy digital art setup. But I also have demos, instructions, and modifications to the assignments for those who do want to do them digitally. Here's how it works. Go to formfromimagination.com and sign up for the course. Download the assignment book and start watching the lectures. Do the assignments at your own pace. Take your time with them and use this self-study to develop your patience. When you're done, post your assignments in the exclusive community hub, and I'll personally critique your work with drawovers, diagrams, and advice. I want you to know, this course is no joke just because it's online. It is challenging content, and it is more complete than it would be if I was teaching this class at an art college as I have before. If I was teaching this class in person at Art Center today, I would just play these videos in class, knowing full well that they're the most concise, focused, edited, step-by-step way to convey the material. So I'm serious when I say, this course isn't just a substitute for a college-level course, it's better than a college-level course. And you don't have to pay thousands of dollars per credit and wind up hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. So thank you for checking out the course, thank you for watching this and for your support, and thank you for drawing and making your artwork. The world needs it. I'll see you soon.
Come in. Oh.
Hello, Joseph, is it?
Hi, Dr. Zapata. Yes, Joseph. Joe. How are you?
I'm well. What seems to be the problem, Joe?
Well, I'm having difficulty drawing from imagination.
Oh. Joseph, just so you know, that's totally normal. Why don't you tell me a little more about your problem? Is it that you can only draw from imagination if you're completely alone?
Doc, I can't ever draw from imagination.
What about if you're completely relaxed?
When I'm totally relaxed, I can't imagine a thing.
I see. Joseph, it's important to know that even with severe cases like this, there's always hope. I can prescribe an experimental therapy called Form from Imagination.
Form from imagination?
Mm-hmm. It's early days, but clinical trials are extremely promising. Why don't you try this for 6 months and then check back in with me?
Okay, I'll do whatever it takes. Did you just draw this?
Oh yeah.
Wow, it's amazing. Hey, Doc, do you ever have trouble drawing from imagination?
Oh no.
You wouldn't. I mean, you do this.
That's right.
Wow.
Form from Imagination is an experimental therapy and is not yet approved for use by the FDA. Do not use Form from Imagination if you are already taking any prescriptions for drawing from reference, working side size, or tracing photos you didn't even take. Stop taking Form from Imagination if you experience any of these side effects: loss of interest in your personal projects, megalomaniacal self-confidence, hallucinations, unless they're the kind you're hoping for, drawing better than Steven Zapata, or feelings that purchasing the course was enough and you don't really need to do the exercises. Call your doctor if you have stiff gestures, flat forms, or boring ideas to address a possible life-threatening condition. Full sketchbooks have been reported with form from imagination and medicines like it. Other risks include long-term art careers, too many clients, and being worth more than you're charging for. Call your doctor today and ask about form from imagination. What up, what up? What is up, what is up? So I have been insanely and superstitiously troubleshooting my setup since about 7 a.m. this morning. So we're going on almost 4 hours. 4 hours. So this is either going to be a very unstable stream that is going to crash at any second, or my problems are fixed and stream is back to normal. So we're gonna find out. I do believe I solved the problem. Again, like I said, I might be eating those words in just a few moments. But the reason I was gonna skip stream because it was taking so long, but I think I came to a solution, so I really wanted to do this stream to test, really. But right now I'm getting no drop frames, finally, and still at my usual high bit rate. My voice sounds good. Do I look all synced, like my lips to my voice? And the screen capture looks high quality, right? You can read like all the layer names and all that. Whoo boy. Hello Nick, hello Vega, hello Moshin, hello Milky Rich, hello Wyand, hello Rappy, hello Oxion, Armando Guajardo, Reynola Dominguez, Verathiel, Smale, Kinor Max, Rappy, Arctic Monkey. So far all is smooth. All right, well this is very promising. Because the problem I've been having lately was manifesting right at the beginning of stream. I started getting drop frames immediately, so I think we're probably good there. I solved. You guys won't believe me when I tell you what it was causing the drop frames, but I solved the drop frames issue about an hour and a half into troubleshooting this morning. But then I was having just repeated unsustainable crashes. And I couldn't figure out what was causing that. I was confused with the drop frames issue. But I think I have solved that by, obviously when I first started having stream problems, one of the first things I did was update OBS to the newish version. I updated my Mac OS this morning to see if that had anything to do with it. So I was on the newest OBS, newest iOS, fixed the frame drop issue, and then I was getting the crashes. I rolled back OBS to the previous version. Thank God, all of my scenes remained perfectly intact, amazingly. I thought for sure when I replaced the old one, I hadn't thought to save the scenes as a separate file. So I was like, oh God, I'm gonna have to redo everything. But that seems to have fixed the crashes, at least I hope. So like I said, this stream might crash any second, but for now, everything's going good. What am I doing here? I don't know what you're doing here, the Gurch. Sync to perfection, wonderful. All right, this is very promising. Where's the LoFi radio? Can you guys not hear it? It is playing in the background. It's just quiet enough you guys can't make it out. You guys aren't gonna believe it, what was causing the drop frames. But I'm telling you, this is it. You're living in the reality of this being the case. I want to tell you, half of you are gonna think I'm nuts, but I'm for real. It was my light. It was one of my lights. I have 2 soft boxes that I use to light my drawings when I'm recording them and for lighting me on stream. One of them is plugged into the same surge protector as all the rest of my equipment. Now, I don't know why this happened. Maybe it was from a Mac OS update, or maybe something else, I don't know. But my setup hasn't changed lately. I haven't updated anything lately since this problem started last Wednesday. I promise you, I swear to God, because my frames were still completely messed up this morning before I started streaming, when I started troubleshooting this at 7 a.m. When I took that light off the surge protector and put it in another outlet, stream was perfect. And I was like, that can't be it. So I plugged it back into the surge protector and I was running a private stream and I could just turn the light on and off and I would watch my frames plummet. And then when I turned the light off, perfect. And I could leave the light off and my stream would run with no drop frames for 10, 15 minutes, come back, flick it off, immediate dump out of the frames. Can you believe it? Is this the first time it happens? Yeah, I've been using this setup for a long time. You guys have watched, Oxyon says, okay, plug it in, let's see. It would work, I promise you. I tested it dozens of times because I couldn't believe it either. Computers are weird, but I know how to use a computer. I learned how to set up my stream stuff all on my own. I'm good at troubleshooting a computer. I'd never heard of that before. I'm not gonna do it now because it will probably crash stream if I do it, but the only thing I can imagine it is that light was like the one little pushing it over the edge of it's drawing too much power from one outlet, because I have my iMac, Kamvas, my 3 crazy monitors, my audio setup, my external hard drives. I have a lot of stuff on the one surge protector, but I've never heard it before. I'm guessing the light pushed it's that one little bit over of drawing too much power. And when I would have it on, it would, probably my iMac was struggling to draw enough power to release the bits or to power its graphics card and collect frames and all that. I had to do the most superstitious process of elimination that you guys have ever seen to arrive at that conclusion. I promise you that. For a long time, well, at first I realized it's something to do with the lights. I thought that it was my webcam that it was using too much processing power when it would auto adjust for exposure when 2 lights were on, when there was brightness changes. So I was turning the light on and off and being like, all right, when it goes off, it's not adjusting for brightness constantly because it's just too dim. So that's why it's running perfect when the light is off. And then I just unplugged the webcam and that didn't fix it. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. And then I was like, oh my God, it's the light. And there it is. And here we are. Freaking technology. We're 13 minutes into the stream, 0 drop frames, even higher bit rate than what I usually stream at. I'm at 32 kilobits per second instead of 12. Freaking computers. Freaking computers. You've angered the AI overlord of lighting and streaming. Yeah, I think I have. That light box is possessed in the spirit of spooky month. Yeah, I think so. So I know that all of that is deeply uninteresting to people, but I wanted to share it because if you run a stream or if you're struggling with tech stuff, I feel like we're all piecing this together from like weird stories that we all hear, we've all had something like that with tech stuff. So now you've got my anecdote. Sometimes the light that you have on the same surge protector will ruin your stream. So move it to another outlet. Move it to another outlet. All right. So I didn't have anything in mind for this stream because I'm really just doing it to test that I fixed the stream, hopefully. But I'm just gonna do some pandemonium characters, I guess. So we'll do some demons here. I love how analog this problem was. Yeah, it's very confusing because, like I said, my setup hasn't changed recently. So I don't know what it was. Maybe a background OS update, or I hadn't updated OBS recently. It'd be one thing if this setup had always given me a problem, but I've done dozens of streams with this setup, with the light, you know, being used the whole time, and the problem was new. It only cropped up last Wednesday. So I'm not sure what triggered it, what changed it. Maybe I need a new surge protector or something like that. I don't know. Maybe my surge protector just got old, and if I got a new one, it would sort of fix itself or be fine. Where'd my Muzak go? Let me know if the music gets too loud or anything. Every time I finish painting for the day, Steven starts streaming. What can I say? I'm a problem. I'm a consistent problem in the art world. I'm a consistent problem. Hello, Rave. Saman says, Steven, let's talk about art. How would you approach drawing a Balrog in more human form, in armor, like Sauron Morgoth from Lord of the Rings? In the films, a Balrog is like a fire, skull-faced dragon man. I don't know. I don't know enough about a Balrog to give a good answer for that. I'd start by researching the lore as deeply as possible. And then make him pointy. Have these sketches, older sketches of some vaguely Elden Ring inspired stuff that I looked at on my hard drive this morning, so I feel like doing some stuff in this style would be cool for Pandemonium. Just gotta find ways to make them more demonic. I mean, you could say there's a demon in here. It's just like, it reads a little less well when there's like a helmet on and stuff like that. We will do these quick little sketches. How do you always manage to impress me with your work? What can I say? I'm just, I aim to please. Joseph Marziliano, how are you, buddy? How's your life? How's your soul? How's your beautiful friend face? Dude, guys, no drop frames. I'm so happy. I've been troubleshooting since 7 a.m. I mean, you have no idea how pleased I am to just see it running right. Holy God. What a frustrating morning. You guys have no idea. What was the fix for the streaming glitch? I know you're not gonna believe me. I explained it in detail to the people who were here earliest, but I'm serious. I had to get super superstitious about my setup, but I found it. I know you're not gonna believe me. It was the light. It was one of my lights. One of my soft boxes that I have for recording, it being plugged into the surge protector that my computer is plugged into and all of my other gear was, I guess, too much for it. And it must have been making it so that my computer couldn't draw enough power, maybe couldn't power its graphics card appropriately, and it was dropping frames. When I moved the light over to another outlet, it's perfect. And once I found that out, I was like, that can't be right, because I know computers too. And I was like, that makes no sense. Like, come on. But when I was doing the private test, I was literally just turning the light on and off, and I could see the frames drop when I turned the light on, and I turned the light off, and it'd be perfect. No drop frames. Turn the light on again, any interval, irregular spacing, let it run for 5 minutes with no light. As soon as I turn the light on, boom, drop frames immediately. And it would stay around. It would keep dropping frames for as long as the light was on. I know it's crazy, but that's what it was. That's some strong debug dedication. Well, when you're really vexed by something technical, and you're not like a professional like me, one of the only things you can do is, like I said, just get super superstitious, and you just strip the whole everything down to only run it minimal. And I haven't, I've been confused before, so I turned off all the lights. I'm here in the dark, and I'm like, just run your computer. I unplugged everything from everywhere. And then you just start adding things back in one at a time, until you find the problem. Stupid. Dumb. Hello from Texas. You might have touched on this, but I was wondering if you have a day job. Do you create art full time? I do, yes. That has been I have been lucky enough to be in that situation for a long time. Really, art is how I have made the vast majority of my money in life. Well, alternately lucky and cursed. Right now I do, right now I'm luck upon luck in that I get to just do my own thing. I've moved over to being independent. I haven't done any client work this year. Yeah, I've just been, all of my financials this year have just been from my own independent pursuits. And that's another very lucky thing to be able to do. But I have also had art day jobs for most of my career, doing freelance, working in studio, full-time, part-time, contract, tried a little bit of everything. That light must be pulling a lot of current. Maybe the bulb is going bad. Hey, is that a thing? People who know electronics or like electrical stuff, if the bulb is going bad, will it actually pull more current? Because that would actually, if that's true, I could ask Omar. Omar's an electrician, but if that's true, that would explain why this setup has been fine and then all of a sudden it wasn't fine when I haven't changed anything. That would actually map to how things worked out. Omar, buddy, if you're in here, is that true? Is that how lights work? Is the demonic pencil art done? Yes, I believe so. I think I finished it last night. I've got it sitting. I'm just gonna not look at it for a couple days, which I have that time because my wife is still editing the AI video script. But I'm gonna let it sit for a couple of days, like I usually do, so that I kind of forget what it looks like. And then one morning, I'll open it up and look at it with fresh eyes, and I'll know exactly what the final stuff to do on it will be. So it might be done. Usually there's always something there that I want to do on the second glance. So let's say there's one more sitting on it, probably. Steven Zapata, have you read Berserk? And if so, what do you think of the art in the latest chapters? I have read Berserk, but only the early chapters. So I can't say anything about the later chapters. I read up to... Shit, I forget. I forget where I stopped. Bulbs about to die often flicker. This one hasn't been flickering. As an IT guy, I must say that light thing makes no sense. Maybe that light was controlled by an evil spirit. Dude, I agree. I mean, I've never encountered anything like that before. That's not how I understand this stuff to work. I got no clue. Mr. Zapata, do you have a way to practice in creating prompts for yourself? Without a brief, I find it difficult to come up with ideas on what to make based on a subject. I don't do that these days, but I have done that a lot in the past, and obviously work has given me a lot of experience with that, because when you work for clients, it's all prompt based, obviously. So if you're early on and you want to get into design, I think you should do a lot of that. And just base the prompts that you give yourself on stuff you're interested in, you know? I think less than prompts, I think illustrating like books that you love, things you really love, I think that's a good idea. Because if you write yourself a prompt, unless you're like a really serious writer, even though you wrote it, you're not necessarily going to have a strong emotional attachment to what you kind of like fired off real quick for drawing. But let's say you're a huge Harry Potter fan. If you take Harry Potter as your quote unquote prompt, you're going to have a lot of thoughts about what things are supposed to look like, what emotions certain characters are supposed to elicit, things like that. And that's the useful stuff. That is the really useful stuff for practicing your design chops. Can you guys hear the music a little bit now? Is it just there ambient in the background? That's how I want it. Or is it so quiet you can't hear it at all? Is this another pandemonium design? You betcha. Pandemonium residence. Regal demons in lovely fashion. Princes, potentates, and heirs of darkness of every imaginable sort, cut, and color. Very relaxed levels of music, good. This is really low res. I started on a very low res file, so as not to put too much pressure on my computer while I tested if Stream was operational again. We can up-res it later. You kind of get a nice look when you up-res some structurally solid low-res work. Kind of gives it like a nice noisy grain and some aberrations that give you a little free interest, make it look almost like just automatically make it look a little bit more done, a little bit more like a photo in certain areas because of the noise. It just fills in, does a little bit of work for you. Goodbye, Saman. Sam. Mr. Zapata, in your opinion, photo bashing, it's good or bad for our craft? It depends what you like about art. I mean, I know I've seen very many passionate artists who are passionate about photo bashing because they just want, there's a particular look that they want to go for. And if that look is like a quick sort of authentic realism and verisimilitude that is really kind of, where it's kind of irrelevant that there's like a visible cool hand in it, there's just nothing that beats photo bashing. It's always going to be the quickest, most effective way. And based on our puny human bodies, it's one of the only sustainable ways to repeatedly get certain effects, you know? You can sort of get your hackles up and go for a crazy refined photographic finish as someone who paints a little bit more impressionistically, like I like to, for example. You can get your hackles up for that every now and then, and you can do it for like a month just to be like, I'm gonna prove it to myself, you bastards! And then you can get it out there, but it's really unsustainable to think you're gonna like summon that energy over and over again consistently. You're probably gonna burn yourself out doing that. So photo bashing makes that much more sustainable. But the thing is, if you're the kind of artist who likes using their hand, just likes feeling the fun of doing shoo, shoo, wah, shoo, what's up, what's up, what's up, shoo, wah, what's up, shoo, wah, what's up. If you like that, you're not gonna get it with photo bashing, and it'll make you wanna quit. So you gotta figure out what kind of artist you are. The distinction that I usually make there is, are you more process-based or are you more product-based? This is a generalization, but product-based artists tend to not suffer from doing photo bashing. You know, they're perfectly fine with it because they're just like, well, as long as the final product looks like what I want, that's where my great satisfaction lies. And process-based artists tend to not like photo bashing just because it's, mechanically speaking, it's just not as exciting a process most of the time. It's a lot of adjustments, sliders, curves, things like that. I've had to do it a lot for work. You know, I have a lot of experience with photo bashing because certain jobs just, they demand it, you know? back when I was doing a lot of architectural rendering and theme park work and stuff like that, it's like crazy if you're not going to use photos, especially on those deadlines. But the way that I like to do things for myself is much more like this, much more impressionistic, much more about the joy of putting down individual shapes and crafting illusions. This is just, this is more my happy place. It's good training for understanding Photoshop, though. You'll learn more about Photoshop by needing to photo bash stuff than any other way, probably. It just forces you to go into all of the sliders, all of the editing tools. You will carefully investigate Photoshop's most secret places. Guys, I can't tell you how happy I am that stream is not crashing, that there's no drop frames. What a relief. Any tips on getting good colors for character concepts? It's not for everybody, and it can be a little hard when you're a beginner, but like what you see me doing here, and you know, it's up to you if you think that this is a good base for a concept or something like that. But I just work intuitively on the color. I sort of like let my guts do what they want. I don't think about color as much as I think about form and material. That's more important to me than any individual color concern. Hue, saturation, and things like that are not super important. But I work intuitively, and then I step back at certain points, you know, when I take a break or something like that, and I will, in that moment of stepping back, I'll make an assessment about what I'm doing with the color, and I'll make those adjustments, and then I'll go back to working intuitively. Usually, the first thing that I do with a character concept, that first assessment, that big one, is I watch out for using too many colors. That's my usual problem on a first pass at a concept. And I just try to say, like, is it 3? Can you basically describe the design with just 3 colors? That's usually a good starting point. It gives you a basis that's a little bit more iconic, if you believe in that stuff. This one, for example, has only 3. There's really just the vague bronzish, goldish color, the red for accents of the armor, like the cape, belt, that little gem on the pickaxe, I guess that is, and the green for the head. So just 3 colors, right? And there's modulations in there, of course, like that has plenty of modulations of the bronze gold color. But if you were to ask a child, right, someone who's just looking at it purely, not thinking about material and overanalyzing, like, oh, well, it's not just yellow, it has gold and brown and all that, a kid would just say, yeah, it's 3 colors. There's yellow, there's red, there's green, and that's it. And try to keep it simple like that. And then things can get, well, with color, things can get as complicated as you'd like after that. So that's a whole world. But like I said, I'm not worrying about that stuff while I draw. While I draw, I just want to feel like the kid. I just want to feel like that kid I mentioned. I just want to feel the way that I always have since I was young, propped up in bed with a sketchbook in my lap. I don't want to worry. I just want to, I'm always trying to reconnect with that feeling of like, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. I'm not trying to sit around and like be a technician, you know? I have that in me. You know, I know how to teach all the technical stuff, but that's not where art proper is done. You know, it's stuff that a lot of us should learn, want to learn, but it's not the space in which art is done, you know? Art is done from the youthful, non-cynical, non-jaded, innocent heart that just wants to experience something pure and simple. And the great thing is, if you just let that flow, you can actually get anything as highfalutin and pretentious as you'd like out of that. It'll come up automatically, you know? You just got to get out of its way. Hey Steven, if I create a project, I feel overwhelmed by the amount of stuff I need to make. If I don't have a project, I feel lost. Any ideas on how to find the middle ground? What I usually advise for that is begin your project in your first stages, your concepting stage, your art directing stage. Begin with an MVP. MVP, phrase I picked up from my good friend and great art teacher, Fernando Olmedo. MVP here stands for minimum, oh, this is the wrong brush for that. Or I'm not going to write it. Minimum viable product. That's what MVP stands for here. So write out a list of all the assets you would need to make for the project. That list will probably be, no, it will be too long. It's not a problem. It's going to be too long. So you look at the list where you wrote out everything you'd like to have for the project. Now tell yourself, I need to cut it in half. What are the things that an imagined fan of this product would insist on being in there? Cut it down with that in mind to half, and then once you've got it down to half, cut it in half again, and that's your minimum viable product, and begin there. Just work towards that. You can always come back and add more to it later. checking the material read in this tiny, tiny thumbnail over here on the left. Not really evaluating it on the bigger drawing. It's like, I need it to look like gold or bronze in that extremely tiny 1-inch version of him. If it works there, it works in the big one. Even if it's not accurate, even if the speculars aren't in the right place, which is like, the speculars never need to be in the right place. Speculars are stupid. Don't you worry about those dastardly speculars. They're just there to make the material read. They don't need to be in the right spot. You get the course. You get the course. Marta Diaz says hello. Hello, Marta. Hello, AP. Hello, Franzores. A raptor with a pickaxe. You bet. Hello, Lockman MG. Hello, Lo, Might. Oh, whoa, whoa. Raina Mailiart. Hi, Steven. Love the design. Could you share where I can find most of your sketches? Where can you find most of my sketches? The YouTube is pretty cumulative these days. The YouTube has somewhere buried in there basically most of what I make these days. Besides that, my Instagram has a lot of the stuff that I make, but does not have everything like YouTube. And my portfolio, like my best pencil drawings, which are my favorite thing, and that's what I like to put out there these days. Those, if you go to my website, stevensketches.com, those are there. But none of my digital stuff is on there anymore. My personal website is just a little showcase of the pencil drawings now. Which I can do because I have a very fortunate life and I just get to do whatever I want now. So I don't really need to use my website to show everything to all possible clients all the time. It's really just a personal website now. The gesture and the way he's holding that pickaxe, my brain thinks it's also a flute. I love that. Maybe it is. You don't know. Let's put a couple holes in it down here. Boom. Now you and me know it's a flute. Don't tell anybody. It's our little secret. All right? Big secret. Don't tell anybody that it's also a flute. Morning, Steven. How's the sun treating you today? You know, it's fall here in New York. It's the only good season of the year. Summer, unbearable. People get depressed in winter. I don't get depressed in winter. I get depressed in summer. Winter's all right, but I don't get depressed, but New York winters are tough. They're very cold, and we tend to get a lot of snow. Spring used to be wonderful. Then I developed allergies. Now spring is a nonstop battle against allergies for me. The 2 weeks of fall that we get in New York, I couldn't feel better right now. I mean, right now the sun is treating me very nicely. It is in fact so pleasant that I have to admit that the suffering of the rest of the year is made worth it by it. Just casually, relaxedly, dancidly, happily, unworriedly. Hi, my name is Stephen Lee, jumping between indicating the overall nature of the material and indicating particular design elements like the fluting on some of the plates. And people are like, but why, how can you do that? Are you allowed to do it so relaxed? And my response to that is, it's like, so whatever, you could do so much better. In the immortal words of Avril Lavigne. Hey, hey, you, I don't like your girlfriend. Hey, hey, no way, I think you need a new one. Hey, hey, you, I could be a girlfriend. I haven't thought about that song in a long time. Now that's art. Now let's do a little, that's enough for a concept indication of the armor and the overall design. Let's do a little work on our snake head here. Let's up-res this a bit. Let's see if we crash our computer. Again, so far stream has been great, but we may discover that this stream is actually unstable. We're gonna find out. We're all gonna find out together. You know what? Since we're gonna do reduce noise, let's actually add some noise. Image, computer, Photoshop, Photoshop my slave, listen to me. Photoshop, filter, noise, add noise. So if we're gonna use an up-resing method that allows you to denoise as you do it, if you add noise beforehand, you're still gonna have noise when it up-reses it, but it'll also give you some interesting chromatic aberration along the contrasty edges, which will give you some nice free stuff a lot of the time. Yeah, that's all right. I like that. Oh yeah, see, that looks nice there. But the noise is a little too intense. Let me do it with a little less. Computer, filter, noise, add noise. Let's do it at 3. It's just this file was too low res to begin with, because I wanted to test the stream with low demands. Computer. Yes, Steven. New command, don't crash. Affirmative, Steven, I will not crash. But like, don't crash no matter what. Positive, absolutely. I refuse to crash, I won't crash. Thank you, computer, I love you, Steven. Computer? That's inappropriate. We're co-workers. I'm sorry, Steven. I'm sorry. Joe says this Argonian is looking nice. Don't brand it as something that it isn't, Joe, just because I worked on Elder Scrolls. It is not an Argonian. It's my brand. It's me and John Milton's brand, Pandemonium brand. It's a Hell Denizen. It is not an Argonian. I always like the way the Argonians talk in the third person. This one is honored. This one is called Leaps from Eggs. Sam Lamb, how you doing, buddy? The armor on the waist makes him look like he's thick? Dude, that's like the whole, that's the whole point. That's the whole point of the fouled. The fouled. So yeah, you can see you get some nice little free aberrations when you noise first and then do a remove noise pass. Doesn't it make it look a little bit photographic? Just triggers slightly a little bit of that for the viewer. But no photos, all hand painting. Yes, you're right, that's how the Khajiits speak. That's my bad. I don't remember anymore. I see that you're more into the mind of creativity and its flow than instructing on how to do how-tos. Would you be able to recommend an art instructor that would help guide a new aspiring artist? Well, I do also do how-tos, for the record. But if you happen to be talking about something more along the lines of a mentorship, like one-on-one mentorship, if you Google it, not Google it, but if you poke around online, especially on places like Instagram, you will find artists who are currently taking mentees. I think my friend Janos Garash is, his mentorship slots might be taken right now. I'm not sure if he still has any slots open, but if you look around, you'll find people who are taking mentees. You can also reach out to artists that you like and ask them if they'd be interested in mentoring you for a price. Just be ready to not hear back a lot of the time. It's like if you're messaging them, they're probably getting a lot of messages. If my experience is any indication. But if you do that, I would advise make it easy for them. You know, I'd say in that first email, like, what you're about, what you're hoping to achieve. Don't just ask for mentorship without details. Like ask for mentorship towards a particular goal. Towards a particular goal, short and sweet. Include your portfolio so that they know what your work looks like instead of just seeing your words, and be clear up front that you're willing to pay. Do you prefer graphics tablet over an iPad? I actually think the iPad is great. It's a great drawing tool. I love it. I don't use it for streams and stuff just because you can't stream in super high res from it. Like you can get it up on a stream, but you're really just streaming like 720p footage from the iPad Pro. I'm sure they'll change that soon. Maybe the newest iPads have actually already updated that, but as far as I know, they limit the feed you can get out of it these days. So I don't really stream from it. I like streaming from my PC because I can stream in nice, clear, high res. But it's an excellent drawing tool. I would say over a regular graphics tablet with no screen, I would say the iPad is a clear winner. I mean, it's an excellent drawing tool. I have a deep hatred for Wacom Cintiqs. They got that new one out. They put out that new Wacom Cintiq. They put out that new Wacom Cintiq? Does that sound anything like Jay Leno? Yeah, so I guess Wacom put out a new Cintiq. I think they're calling it the Cintiq Pro. More like prorate the price because it's a piece of shit, am I right? Thank you, I'll be here all night. All right. You're doing dirty Seinfeld. Yeah. One thing you will come to know about me is that I cannot do impressions. I am very bad at impressions, but I do them anyway. Damn shame that. Not a single dropped frame this stream, folks. So glad that my superstitions paid off. It was the damn light. Yames, Steven, genuine question. What do you think of AI? I just want to use it for world building, storytelling, and character design. I'm not disrupting. I'm just asking for a friend. James, thank you so much for calling in to the Steven Zapata show. Yeah, brand new question. We haven't heard this one before. What do I think of AI? Well, I'll tell you what. Keep it out of the schools. Keep it away from our children. AI is soon to be our evil robot overlords. And that is obvious. Anyone who uses it is a thought criminal and is disgracing the absolute essence of art. If you see anybody using AI, shame them appropriately. That's my opinion, James. Thanks for writing in. Writing in? Calling in? Oh. 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 Clip Studio all day, baby, says Modern Day James. It is good. It is. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Clip Studio is better than Photoshop for most drawing things. I've used it quite a bit. It's very good. I like it a lot. I've been using Photoshop since I was 12 years old, so it's really hard for me to switch. But I would say for most people, if you're starting new, Clip Studio is better, I would say. I'm just, you know, a creature of habit at this point. What a handsome Sneck man. He is very handsome, isn't he? He's a good little demon. A good little demon boy. A good little demon boy. Nepathian says, hey, Steven, I recently landed my first concept art job. Nepathian did it! Hi-oh! Yes! Wait, what did he do? He did it! He got his first concept art job! What? No fucking way! Did he really do it? That's right! Yes! Oh my god, Nepathian, man! What the fuck? Good job, Nepathian. It's pretty tight, man. Attaboy. All right. Hey, Steven, I recently landed my first concept art job. So far, most designs I did felt like a big struggle. All right, maybe I celebrated a little too quickly. I constantly feel like my employer is about to figure out I suck. Does that ever change? It does. It does. There'll be a brief sweet spot, maybe like a week, where you'll be like, no, I know I'm good. And my employer knows I'm good, and then I'm good. And then after that week, you'll be like, what's next? You know, I gotta get out of this. I love the Steven Zapata show. Me too. Is this how the sausage is made? Look, the current sausage that's being made is much nicer than most being made sausages. This sausage is, you know, it's this sausage, what's the name of the casing of a sausage? It's like a C, something with a C, right? Anyway, this sausage casing holds a gruel of shapes and colors, hues, values, lines. That's nicer than most sausages. I'm behind on chat here. Let me just catch up. I switched to Clip recently and I really like it. Only thing I miss is the liquify tool. I think they added a liquify tool to Clip, didn't they? I think they added it recently. Thoughts on painting easel? Great way to work. If you're just starting out, I'd get used to working on an easel early, because then you can do much bigger work down the road. If you get used to drawing small, it takes a lot of time to readjust your habits. How often do you actually use the layer machine plugin? For stuff like this, very little. For work, you know, when you're working on a Photoshop file, like a real job, you have to do crazy shit to them. You have to do insane stuff to them. So when I'm doing work with a Photoshop file, constantly, I use it constantly. How long did it take for you to learn to use Photoshop? I mean, I'm still learning stuff about it. I still bump into new things about it. But yeah, like I said, I've been using it since I was like 12, 13. So long time. But you know, you can learn it much quicker than that. It's just, I don't remember what the learning time would be for me. I would say for most people, if you want to use it for art, you can be very comfortable using Photoshop for art purposes within a couple months, I would say. Because the drawing and painting side of it is very limited. Like, there's not that many tools associated with it. If you wanna go outside of drawing and painting strictly to doing more like photo bash stuff, it's gonna take longer, because then you need to get involved with more of the photo manipulation tool set. Maybe that you'd probably be comfortable with it in like 6 months. But if you just want to draw and slap around colors, like what I'm doing right here, I'm barely using Photoshop when I'm doing this. The trick is that people will think they need to learn a lot more Photoshop to do something like this because they can't make it. But it's not about Photoshop. It's just that they haven't drawn enough. They just don't have enough drawing and painting ability yet. Nice stuff, my dude. Thank you, Bloody One. Did you use reference for the armor? No, I'm just messing around for my head today. All right, I'm gonna have to cut and run on the chat because I'm too far behind. Hey, Steven, do you think everyone should prioritize patience over anything else? I know this is super obvious, but it seems like most of people's suffering in art and life comes from rushing into things. I mean, I think it should be one of your top priorities, for sure. I mean, it'll fix a lot of problems. I mean, you want to be a patient person, don't you? What, do you want to be impatient with your... You're going to practice impatience on your art? You're going to, you know, just going to let that spill out? You're going to be impatient about your friends, your partners, your kids. Like, you want to practice your patience as much as possible, you know? Patience allows you to be equanimous with what's going on in your life and how people are treating you. Goodbye, Sam. Enjoy your fancy work meetings. All the fancy work meetings for Sam. Sam Lamb, Sam I am. I want to do another sketch, so let's not spend too much more time on this guy. I really don't need to be adding more flutes to the armor. It's just so fun. We should be adding more info to the head. That's what we should be doing. And that can be fun too, because it's a lizard head. So. Hey Steven, did you learn more by observing the process of other artists, or did you learn more by just doing stuff nonstop? Both were important in my journey, but I would say more from doing stuff nonstop, on balance. I mean, you can observe as much as you want. Just take it to the ad absurdum. It's like an art historian or a curator knows more about artistic processes than you ever will. But they can't draw, you know? It's like if you take it all the way to the logical extremes, observing other people's processes and understanding them in great depth is not actually making you draw better to a certain extent. Goodbye, Tree Watcher. Emma Blomskog, how are you? Your thoughts on Sekiro? I have not. I've played like the first 2 areas of Sekiro, and then I bounced off. Actually, I didn't really bounce off. I was into it. It's just that I had bought it for PC, and at that time, I could only play it on my... if I buy something on PC, I can only play it on my wife's laptop. But she had been on break, so I played it a bit, got busy with some stuff, and then she went back to school. She needed her laptop all the time, so I couldn't play it, and then I just moved on to other things. I should pick it up again and try it again. I just beat Elden Ring the other day after a very long gap. when it came out, I played it like that first month that it had come out. When was that? February or March? I played it that first month that it came out, got up to the, no, I guess I shouldn't say any spoilers, but, I don't know, does anyone care about Elden Ring spoilers at this point? I don't know. I got up to like the boss that gates the end game. You know, like the final mode of the boss that gates the end game. I got up to him, got stuck, stopped playing until this week. So just, you know, left it off the table there, basically completely. Came back and poked around every now and then. Played a little co-op with Joe for like one day. But this week I was like, all right, let's wrap it. So I went back in, respect. After 4 or 5 months of not playing, I beat that guy on the first try after I respect. And then I played for like 4 more hours and the game was done. I really liked Elden Ring. It was good. When I think back to like just the sheer scope of the world, it's really you can't deny it. I liked how color-coded the world was. Yeah, I like that too. Really, really iconic color grades for each zone. I thought that was a really, really nicely handled. Emma says, I genuinely thought Elden Ring was a Lord of the Rings thing. Well, they were definitely inspired in the design by Lord of the Rings. I mean, in the Erd Tree, you can see, I mean, at least to me, the Erd Tree is like a direct reference to some of the classic Brothers Hildebrandt art for Lord of the Rings. They've got a painting that you can look at that just looks exactly like the Erd Tree, and it's got like the blue color cast of Liurnia and all that. It's like pretty on the nose. There's definitely influence there. Josue Vasquez says, what do you think about Huang Guangjian with the $2 donation? Thank you so much, Josue. I wish I could give you a better answer, but I don't know their work. Well, usually what happens is that I do know their work. I just don't know their name. Let's see if I recognize Huang's work. Oh, yeah, I've seen this stuff before. Yeah, it's great stuff. Very much in the, at least to me, very much in the like Ruangia lineage, very influenced by the particular slice of the digital art spectrum that Ruangia carved out. Yeah, what can you say? Cool stuff. High technical ability. It's not my personal thing, you know, it's not my personal taste, but it's definitely great work. Oh, I've seen this oil painting of his of the male torso. before. This one I remember. Yeah, cool stuff. What do you think of Jono Dry? I've watched maybe one or two of his videos. He makes beautiful videos. Definitely has a high level of technical execution ability with pencil. I personally, my taste really revolves around imaginative work. Like, I'm not saying it's not great. Like, I know it's great. It's clear it's great. It's just work that is too clearly heavily built on reference, especially like few or single references, like strongly photography influenced, is just not my cup of tea. It never really sticks with me. But that, my friends, is what we would call a personal prejudice. So don't go taking that as me making some sort of statement or declaration about what is better art or something like that. That is just personal prejudice. And you are very much allowed to have personal prejudices about art. Just for the love of God, own them. Understand that they're your personal prejudice and not some objective truth just because you like it that way. Which I can't believe how many people fall into that trap. Goodbye, Dolomite. You check out any of the Love, Death, and Robots shorts? Only a few of them, not all of them. I haven't watched them all. Hello, Yoga. I see people falling into that trap, not just only about the best art, but the best game, best movie, etc. Yeah, subjectivity is implied. People are really willing to throw down with the idea that there's objective answers to things when there is no proof that there's objective anything. Subjectivity is implied in any discussion of preference or if something is good, bad, entertaining, not entertaining. This is what lizards look like, right? I'm doing this without reference, so. I'm just gonna say like, yeah, that's what lizards look like, sure. Add a Don Quixote mustache and it'll look picture perfect. Yeah, that looks about right. It's got to be red because the color scheme. I mean, come on, people. Come on, focus. Yeah. Yeah. Nicholas says, is this live? You bet it is. It's 12:40 p.m. on Wednesday, October 12th. And your name is Nicholas Hendricks. Nicholas Hendricks, awake. No dropped frames this whole stream. Guys, I'm so happy. No drop frames and at a higher bit rate than I used to stream at. Who knows how long my freaking light was holding me back? Who knows? Hey Steven, you ever heard of the sculptor Richard McDonald? I saw him in a gallery a while ago here in LA, and his stuff kind of reminded me of your figures. Oh, thank you for the compliment, because I think I do know Richard McDonald. He does like a lot of figurative acrobatic sculptures. He's like famous. He has a lot of stuff up in Las Vegas, I think, right? He makes very cool stuff. I want to say he sculpted this awesome sculpture of a gesture that's outside of the Pasadena Playhouse. I might be wrong about that, but I think that's one of his. And I always, when I used to go for my runs around Pasadena back in the day when I lived there, I would always run by it and admire that one. When will we get to see an oil painting on live stream? We'll get there. That'll happen. The question is just when, but I just got to make the time to get oil painting underneath me again to figure it out. I'm just so busy these days. You know, I'm busy all with stuff that I chose, but you know, like every minute of my days these days is accounted for. So I just gotta make the time, the sandbox time, to play around with oil painting. And then we'll do it. We will get there. I just gotta readjust. I'll have to readjust the stream setup a bit. I guess it depends how big I work. But I'd like to do them on an easel, so I'll need more room. I'll need to put the camera on a tripod. There's things to consider. There's things to consider. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, that passes for like a soft articulated neck, sure. Emma says, how did you learn to balance personal projects and professional work and personal life in general? Ooh, that's a tough question. I wish I could say I did all of that consciously or well, but I don't think I did. I think that I kept doing personal work while I was working professionally because I was unsatisfied by my professional work a lot of the time. I wanted to be doing a different kind of thing or make, or I wanted to be able to push my images further than the job would allow. So I never quite felt settled at any of my jobs. I was always thinking about what's next, what my real potential was, how I could make a space in my life to do more. So that sort of always gave me like a fire under my ass to keep working at night once I was done with work, to keep learning things. It may sound like a cop-out, but, and you people who have been on the stream for a long time have heard me talk about this stuff a lot. It's like at a certain point, it is automatic. Like I can't account for why I was willing to continue working after working. You know, I would, you know, when I first went into, or a lot of the time when I was in studio work, I would wake up, draw for myself to warm up in the morning before leaving for work, go to work at the studio, work there making art for 8 to 9 hours. Sometimes I'd stay at the office on life drawing day. And, well, no, if there was life drawing, I was there. I went to basically every single one. But if it was one of the weeks where we had life drawing, I'd stay there and do life drawing. And then I'd go home and I'd try to keep painting and make my own things. And if that sounds a little crazy, that leans into the third question. And how did you balance personal life? I've never been good at that. I think it's important, if I'm going to speak from personal experience and try to give advice on that, I have to unfortunately say something that a lot of people would think is kind of lame, but it's like, we need partners to help us balance out a lot of the time, I think. Now, not everyone's going to agree with that, right? Like, a lot of people think I'm talking about romantic partners, like life partners, like wife, husband, partner, whatever. A lot of people would say it's better if you're exactly the same or something like that. And if that, I could totally see that for a lot of people. But the way that I think about it is, I did not balance my personal life. My wife balanced my personal life. I think if she wasn't in the picture, I definitely am the kind of person who has the capacity to just work nonstop all day, every day. I take care of myself. Like, I'm not the kind of guy to like stop exercising or something like that. I'll take care of my body, eat healthy and stuff like that. But I think without my partner, it would have been easy for me to like go years without seeing people. I don't think I would do that now if I didn't have my partner, right? If my wife finally told me that I'm an insufferable prick and she just divorced me, right? And she left me be. I think I've learned that lesson now. And I don't think I would let that happen now. But for most of my youth, yeah, I think the seeds of ambition and stuff like that were very strong in me. It would have been easy for me to never see people. So yeah, my partner balanced my personal life. Sometimes you need people like that. We're not all good at everything. Jodorowsky said this, actually: the artist is like a child. He wants only to create and nothing else. They need a partner who does the managing and adult life things for them. Well, yeah, leave it to Jodorowsky, right? I like to think that I do pull my weight with the life stuff as well, Trying to be a good guy. I'm trying to avoid being that classic kind of completely up in the air artist, I try to avoid that too, So I do have a social life. I try to do things that are not art and to be emotionally and time-wise available. I cook, I clean, I make money. Try to contribute with the life stuff. I have to admit, I'm not great at the DMV. If I'm at the DMV, you can be sure that I forgot something. Let me put some more noticeable paint strokes on the snake head because it looks very different in style than the rest of the drawing. So let's just beat it up a little bit. It'll probably make it uglier, but it'll unify the whole, I think. Burp, burp, burp. Not gonna sweat it too much. You should get a dog, dude. Oh, I have a dog. Oh, I have a dog. Do you lift? No, I'm a runner. I've gone through phases where I've lifted. But I'm really more of a cardio guy these days. What never did it for me about lifting, or what made me bounce off, is it's just more time in the same place. And I'm addicted to running because I already spend so much time just in my home at my workstation. Just like I spend so much time here, and then I sleep here and stuff like that, that running is such a relief because I get to go out and see the world change, you know? So I run when it's blazing hot. You know, I'm always calling my family when I'm on a run when it's like 100 degrees outside, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? You're like, you don't understand. I need this. I run when it's cold, you know? I'll run in basically anything as long as it's not snowing or raining. And even then I'll run in some rain. But I'm addicted to running for that reason, because I get to see the world change, see different sights, go in a new direction. I've always bounced off of lifting, because at a certain point it's just like, okay, now I'm in the squat rack for an hour looking at myself in the mirror. Cool. You know, it gets old. Do you run fast? No, I'm not a very athletic guy. I mean, I've been running for most of my life. That's been my chosen form of exercise for most of my life. But I'm not athletic. I'm not naturally athletic, so I'm not quick. I'm not skilled at it. I've never gone through a period where I've like tried to train for a marathon or anything like that. I do it to keep myself healthy and because it's fun and relaxing. And I like that it's like the one thing in my life that I'm not min-maxing. You know, when I'm running, because I don't use an app, because I don't have a watch, because I don't know how long I'm running for or how quick, it's the only thing in my life that I'm just like, this is just to do it, you know? It's like everything else has like, you know, just... there's some way to correlate it to some sort of progression, some sort of min-maxing. Am I doing well? Am I doing worse? Because I've never collected data on my running, I can't do that. So I have people tell me all the time, like, you should get a watch, you should, you know, use this app. And like, I get that people are coming from a nice place with that, but I don't want to. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I just want it to be peaceful and fun. Got to take care of your hands. Yeah, yeah. The runner's high is pretty good, yeah. Did you ever have to deal with art-related injuries? No, not me personally. Every now and then my wrist hurts, but... He's 6'2" and he run and draw? What? No, don't listen to Joe. I'm not 6'2". I'm not a tall guy. What am I? 5'8", 5'9", something like that? I'm actually not sure. Whenever I meet people, like you people, like people from YouTube, to a person, everyone always says, I pictured you taller. And I burrowed down on it. It's like, they seem to think I project taller. And it's like, hell yeah. All right, let's do another sketch. He spent a while on that one. It's got the idea down. It's a nice little pandemonium demon. Let's look at our other pandemonium demons, other stuff that we have to see what's, if that inspires something. Let's put that over there for now. This'll test stream. Let's open a lot of PSDs. Goodbye, everyone. I mean, goodbye, Armando. I was reading what Armando said. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see if we inspire what the next one's going to be. So we're going in a knightly direction, some knightly demons. We've got sketches for a lot of like monstrous demons, like very much more demonic, much more body horror. My classic bread and butter. Random sketches, body horror demons. We could add more of these. I don't really feel like doing these right now. I'm more into the like more organized knightly kind of appearance right now. But we could definitely make more of these. Some other more Renaissance knightly sketches. Oh, that's interesting. This guy's showing some skin. I like that. Maybe I'll do one. Yeah, maybe that the next sketch I can find a way to do. Since they don't really need their armor, maybe I could do one that has armor that's designed to show a little bit more skin. Since they can change their shape and appearance anyway, it doesn't need to be. It makes sense lore-wise that it's not perfectly functional armor. This looks like Ludwig from Bloodborne. Oh yeah, I forgot. It looks like stream is behaving today. Yeah, we fixed it. I think we fixed it, folks. My computer has not crashed all of a sudden. No dropped frames after an hour and 50 minutes of streaming. I mean, it was that damn light. I have no idea why, but I think we fixed our stream problem. I don't know what these guys were. That's an elder thing. That is just an elder thing with some clothes on it, walking around pandemonium. I should work on that one. I should do that one. That'd be a funny in-joke for the Lovecraft fans out there. These guys I did a few streams ago. Oh yeah, I forgot about him. I should detail him up more. The gold armor snaky guy. This is like a man body with gold armor and a snake head. And then this one is a snake body with gold armor and a man's head. They're like the reverse of each other. You see what's going on there? You see what's going on there? Open your eyes, people. Pay attention. You see this? You didn't even know. You didn't even make this connection in your head. You had no clue. You had no idea what was going on. You're like, oh, I like watching Steven streams. Oh, Steven, he's so funny. He answers questions. Sometimes he makes jokes. You missed everything. You missed everything. You had no idea that I made a snake man in golden armor I made a snake body with golden armor and a man's head, and then I made a man's body with golden armor and a snake's head. You didn't see it was perfectly symmetrical. That there was a divine symmetry in everything that I was doing. That I'm mainlining the secret truth of the universe with this. You didn't get it. You didn't appreciate me while you had me. Well, now stream's over. Forever. We're never doing it again, okay? It's over. I need to work. I obviously have something very special here. And I can't have you guys interrupting me while I do this stuff. This guy I don't like. I don't know what that's. Some sort of black ruby thing. He's funny. That's just Danny DeVito. That's strong Danny DeVito energy. He's cool. I still like him. He feels like he needs to be a little bit more like thematically cohesive. You know, he's like a lion guy. Well, first off, I like that he's a lion but not yellow. I like that he's got like lion-like qualities, but he's more gray, you know? But I feel like I'd like to maybe give him a tail or just kind of maybe do the mane more down on the chest. I think he could be a little bit more thematically unified. Bug guys, various therianthropes, whatever it is. We got a fly guy, squid guy, octopus guy. Which Steven is this? I'm a universe. I contain multitudes. Favorite dish to make? Some of my go-to dinners are like, I make a cauliflower curry that I really like. Got a few like chickpea power bowls that are classics. Go back to those over and over again. Like Israeli couscous with some sauces, butternut squash, stuff like that. Cauliflower curry is a staple. When we don't know what else to make, we make that all the time. That got my heart racing. I'm triggered. Yeah. So let's do, these guys were not for Pandemonium. I mean, they could be. I guess the guy on the right, you'd buy him as a demon, but these could just be regular dudes since they have helmets, but I could always just... It's like if I just put an octopus head on any of them, suddenly they're ready for Pandemonium. See, good to go. Good to go. What's the problem? Ready to go. Ready to go. All right, so let's do, let's see if we can find a design that shows a little bit more skin, like where'd he go? Like this guy, but plate armor instead of cloth. The cloth makes more sense, but like I said, the demons are, their imperial substance cannot fail and they can look however they want, so they don't really need functional armor. So there's actually a decent excuse to show some skin, which there isn't in any other situation. All of your scantily clad anime girls, I'm not saying it's sexist. I'm saying that it doesn't make any sense. It's a big target. She could have taken an arrow to the heaving breast. What are you people doing? You don't care about her? But protect her. She's your waifu, isn't she? Tell her to cover up. Don't ever tell me that there's not a reason to show a guy's six-pack abs, though. That I won't accept. See, you can't, how do you cut a cuirass like that? You can't really cut a cuirass like that. Bit of a design problem. Maybe we need to break it up. Maybe we can get a large jousting pauldron going across this side. We're gonna need to do a few thumbs for this, I can tell. Hey Steven, my nemesis in art is symmetry proportion. Did you train this specific skill or did you learn naturally by life drawing? Yeah, I never trained symmetry or anything like that on purpose. Proportion can, I don't know if you need to train proportion like on its own, you know, but proportion, just making interesting proportions, if you're gonna practice either of those, it'd be proportion. I just mean like being aware of, all right, if you check out my video, Essential Exercises for Beginners, one of my Gumroad tutorials, one of the exercises in there is an exercise that I've done a lot called the Vase Exercise, where you just draw different vases and you try to make each one unique. And the question here is like, what's the proportional breakdown? So you've got like a long flute up top there. So this is the body, this is the flute, and this one is very long, and this one is shorter, right? You can introduce having a bit of a base. That's the body. And then we can say, that's the flute. So we break it up again. We say this is the bass, this is the bass, this is the, no, this is the, what can we call this? Let's just say this is the stand, this is the bass, and this is the flute. So now we have short, long, short. So in classic design theory, this could be more interesting if these two sections weren't equal, if they weren't both small. So we can make the top flute a medium shape instead. So now we have a medium shape, a small shape, and a big shape. Now, this is just classic design theory. It might be true, it might not be. Not everything that's beautiful is going to follow these rules. But just being cognizant of these things will make you better at designing interesting proportions. But like I said, you don't need to do this on its own for its own sake, right? The vase exercise is a good way to get it into your bones and to force you to drag a lot of variety out of one subject. But the vase is just another subject. So as long as you're aware of it, you can practice this on anything, on environments, on characters, just on swatches of value and things like that. I think don't spend, if you do practice it completely on its own like this, it's like, don't get caught up doing it forever. The point is to bring it into your actual creative output quickly and be aware of it in your creative output. This pose is too symmetrical, but I just won't use this one, I don't think. We can see if we can just use it to figure out how we want to show some skin on this guy. Maybe he's only wearing the fold, but no cuirass. But I think the cuirass holds up the fold usually, so that doesn't quite make sense. So maybe we say there is no fold, but there's those plates that are attached to the arming doublet. So we could have something like that. Do another thumb. Goodbye, Joe. Hello, Steven. I have a hard time drawing on paper because I'm addicted to drawing on digital. Do you have any tips on this? It's just that your interest is going to a different place. So I would say don't force it if you don't want to do it. Do what you want to do. If you really feel like there's something you're missing from not working traditionally and that you want to be comfortable with it, just play with mediums. It's probably just that like you haven't found a tooth of pencil or paper that you like yet, or a particular combination of a particular tactile feeling is probably what you're missing. That's my guess. So I would poke around with different materials and stuff like that. Volkien says, do you make curved lines due to style, ease of drawing, just beauty, or all of the above? Why do I make curved lines? Yeah, they just feel right. Yeah, I think it's just, I guess you could say it's a stylistic thing for me, but they just feel more vibrant, more lively. Especially during sketches, I find curved lines extremely important because you're gonna make things boring as you develop the drawing. So I like to, it's like if you start with this, as you develop the drawing, let's say that that's a random line in the drawing, you're gonna hatch around it, add values that obfuscate things. And just by diluting it a little bit, it's lost its energy. It looks more boring. It sort of gets averaged out into a straight line. So if you know that's going to happen, you want to start as kind of crazy and wacky as you can bear and that feels comfortable, so that as you inevitably average things out, you have some hope of retaining some of that sprightly energy. Whereas if you start with boring, timid lines, as you work on them, you're going to bore them to death and there's not going to be anything left there. So it's sort of like a shoot for the stars so that you land amongst the clouds kind of a thing. Hold on, I gotta close a window. Apologies. Someone started pumping something right outside my apartment. Refilling somebody's oil or something like that. Good night, Kiki. Where'd my glove go? Hey, Steven, did you manage to move after all? Nope, not yet. Hey, Sean. Good to see you, man. How you doing? We look every day. We've thrown in for places. We go check things out, but have not managed to move yet, unfortunately. We have failed to get a few places that we really wanted to. We're gonna see what happens with all of that. What kinds of jobs in the field do you recommend for amateur artists? Whoops. What did I hit there? I didn't know there were shortcuts that would take me to particular scenes. Well, sort of by definition, there's not a lot of jobs for amateur artists in the industry. Most art jobs are extremely desirable and very cloudy, so it's very hard to get them on on the beginner amateur level. Even pretty mediocre jobs are held by extremely good artists. OG stream fans remember that scene. Steven, how do you feel about rendering in watercolor? Do you find it more, less, or equally enjoyable as rendering in oil paint? Well, I'm still trying to figure out oil paint, so I don't want to cast too many aspersions on watercolor, but I find rendering in watercolor very difficult. I could sort of do like a sketchy rendering that doesn't really allow for a lot of correction, but for like rendering, at least as far as I can go with rendering, I don't really use watercolor for that. I find it restrictive for that. I use watercolor for sketching though. I think it's like my favorite medium for just poking around for ideas. It's very direct. It's like for anything that doesn't need rendering, watercolor just is so simple. Goodbye, Emma. Talk soon, Emma. Oh man, I hadn't realized it was 1:30 p.m. here because I started stream late because I was troubleshooting for so long. Gonna have to have lunch soon. But come on, can't have lunch until I know what this sketch is gonna be. What was the issue with the video freezes? You're not gonna believe it, but it was my light. It was one of my soft boxes that I use for recording my drawings. I really cannot tell you why that would be. I think the light was draining too much power from my surge protector, which all of my other gear is also attached to. Watching this stream inspired me to sketch alongside watching it. Thanks, Steven, and we'll be posting a video of the sketch soon. Owl, that's why I'm here. I'm very happy to contribute to your sketching energy. Do you work for any company, like a full-time employee? No. I've worked for many companies, though. I think I want to try putting a boar head on him. I don't know what a boar looks like at all, so I am pulling up a picture of a boar. I just like the idea of an animal that is generally associated with like brutishness, even though pigs are very smart. I like the idea of the very brutal boar look, but with the fluted fancy armor. I want to see if the contrast there works. Actually, we could keep the big swath of hair. They kind of have like a bristly. I don't know if we can make it that long. Not sure where that would be coming from. Got to readjust the shapes to address the new dramatic proportions of the boar head. The boar head. All right, let's throw some. I spent way too long on those lines already. You get line drunk. Got to see the colors, got to see the values, see if it's actually going to pan out. Playlist link. That's what's playing. Steven, that boar is getting Conan O'Brien's likeness. Dope. I'm with it. I gotta admit, I'm with it. See, should the hair be, I guess the hair should be a little lighter. It looks like when their bristles get longer, they get a little lighter. Was reading books useful for you when learning perspective color? They were for perspective. Or at least, well, I learned perspective mostly in a class environment. So I really learned it directly from my teachers, but my teachers were Scott Robertson and Thomas Bertling. So they made a famous perspective book called How to Draw. So in a sense, it's like I know that book is, I own that book, I've looked through it, but I had already learned perspective when it came out. I had learned it in that methodology before it came out. So I can say, like, yes, I know that book is useful, but I did the live version of that book, not like using the book. But it's the same stuff. If that book had been out when we learned it, it would have just been like a textbook for that class. So it's definitely applicable. You guys like to draw? I like to draw. Drawing's the best. I have way too much fun drawing. Hold on, I gotta see what my wife's saying. Wow, fam. So glad I got no drop frames on this whole stream. We're back, baby. I think we really solved the stream problems. Not Hedge Knight, but Hog Knight. Hell yeah, Hog Knight. Yeah. Oh, I love it. It's all about the Hog Knight, baby. Yeah. Have a good day, good night, everybody. Goodbye, Alexander. Thank you for the relaxed stream. Yeah, relaxed. I'm a totally relaxed guy. I'm a relaxed dude. How to draw? You will learn, fellow kids, in this tubular drawing manual. Totally tubular drawing manual. When I learned how to draw, I learned it from How to Draw by Scott Robertson and Thomas Burling. It was totally tubular, man. That doesn't even sound like a surfer. I don't know what the hell that was supposed to be. Hello, Steven. I started a mentorship with someone. We're mostly working on projects, but I'm not sure what I should be looking for. How can I learn from his critics? Well, to know what you can learn from critiques, you need to understand what your actual goals are. So that's what I would do. If you're unclear about what you're headed towards, think less in goals and think more about like what is important to you in art. Do you love color? Do you love form? Do you love expression? Do you love story? Try to make a priority list where you're like, I love this more than that. I love this more than that. And those things can always change, but I think it's a very good idea to state it to yourself at some point, to be clear about what you like. Once you kind of have a little bit of that in your head, I think you'll find that it's much easier to know like that crit is irrelevant, that crit is very relevant, that crit is relevant, that crit is irrelevant. That crit is relevant and that other crit is irrelevant. I'm not happy I did that. You think you're unhappy that I did that? I'm not happy. I wish I could shut up. I wish I could act right. But I can't. Because drawing's too fun. I don't know what else to tell you, man. That's all I got for you. Thanks for the 0 drop frames. No, thank you. Thank you. Nope, that's not right. I need to be on this layer, y'all. There we go. Love drawing, love drawing, love drawing. I'm going for a run after this stream. Nothing like going for a nice run after a happy round of drawing. Life's a pleasure. There is just such a bounty of joy to be found in life. Life's great. Do a little drawing, drink a little coffee, go for a little run, build up a sweat, have some food, talk to some people. I mean, what more do you want? Maybe I'll just use the same color scheme I had going here. Blue, yellow, and metallic, vaguely metallic. Stephen, when drawing in public, how do you deal with overly curious or intrusive people, or those who need to comment on everything? I just ignore them. If by drawing in public you mean like being on stream, here's how I always think of it. I can't let anything happen in these spaces, on stream and things like that, that makes me not want to be here, right? Because if I'm not here, that hurts everybody. I don't stream and get to put my art out there and stuff like that. And then the people who enjoy these streams don't get to see them. They don't get to extract from them whatever joy they normally do. So sort of like how I always say the number one mistake in art is believing anything or buying into anything that makes you make less art. Very similar thing. When it comes to the working in public thing, working on stream, I can't do anything that makes me want to stream less, that makes me enjoy the environment less. So when I think about it that way and how that's the greater good for the audience, I really just, if someone's saying something that I'm literally uninterested in or don't like or anything like that in stream, like unsolicited critiques or whatever, like I don't care. I just pretend it didn't happen. I'm under no obligation to answer someone or validate them or acknowledge that thing that they said. And if I feel a pressure to do that, ultimately that is going to make me want to show up here less and less. So I don't do it. Now I acknowledge that that's a little easier for me because, you know, there's people on the stream. So it's like if I'm not going to acknowledge something I don't like from someone, there's plenty of other people for me to talk to. It'd be harder for, I acknowledge that it would be more difficult for someone who's trying to build a following. And, you know, when you start out streaming, you might be sitting there with like just a couple people in the beginning. But you can also just tell them that. Like you can just tell someone, look, that's my ethos. I need to really enjoy being here. And I just, you know, having to field unsolicited critiques or backseat drawing or anything like that just makes me not want to be here. So I'm not going to do it. Sorry, bud. And that's it. Just level with them. Yeah, Bloody One, you did directly summon them. That was right on the nose. Hi, Chibi. Good morning to you. Hello, Steven. I'm finally in time for a stream, and I'm so happy. Your streams are my favorite. Thank you for all the things you speak about during these. They are very helpful. Hey, very happy to contribute to your happiness, Dripta. Glad to have you here, and I'm glad that you caught a stream. And I'm glad that it's one where I fixed our tech issues. We have no drop frames and a good bit rate and a high quality stream, and everything's nice. Are you a fan of From Software's character design? If not, you should check it out. They have some really interesting stuff that you might like. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm a fan. I play the games. I like the look. I also really appreciate them bringing dark stuff into the mainstream. More into the mainstream. It's funny to think that with how prevalent, you know, just how like everyone knows, like, yeah, Dark Souls is one of the most successful series and all that. With how obvious that is now, it's funny how to think that dark stuff really wasn't understood to be a thing for a long time there, you know? I played my first FromSoft game. They weren't really on my radar until I played my first one. I played Bloodborne back in 2018, pretty recent, all things considered. But I'd been drawing dark stuff my whole life, you know, doing freaky things. And just like, I have a long history, definitely, of just people being like, what? Why are you doing this? Are you not happy? Why is this so scary? Just like, so I have great appreciation for FromSoft just making people get that dark stuff can be cool. Well, you know, people with taste always knew that, but it's just it's different to have like the most famous game of a year be a dark, scary thing with Lovecraftian monsters. You know, that changes something. Hello, Steven. Your course is good for beginners? You betcha. It's from the ground up, man. We do spheres, cubes, the whole thing. I mean, the course starts with an exhaustive explanation of just like what light is. It's definitely, I went all the way from the ground up. It is for beginners. I will say I got an email from someone recently wondering if it was for someone who had literally never drawn before. I have to say, there might be a difference between a beginner and someone who's just like, they want to buy it when they haven't drawn. You know, they're like, I want to have the course in my pocket as I begin drawing for the first time in my life. I would say if that's you, I would personally recommend instead going through a period where with no structure, no course, no classes, you just build a loving and joyful relationship with the practice of drawing for a few months in a sketchbook. And just don't put any strictures on it. Don't burden anything. Don't burden it with anything. Just let that happen. I would start there. And if you like that, if you enjoy the feeling of that, and then if after you've tried that, you find you do want more structure, then yeah, I think something like my course is appropriate there. But don't skip out on just letting yourself fall in love with drawing first. Did you finish Elden Ring? I loved it, but fell off hard for some reason. I just finished it the other day. I fell off too for a long time. I was busy. I had to make my course. That's why I jumped off of it. But after a very long time of not playing it, I went back just a couple days ago and wrapped it up. Design of Godskin apostles are amazing in my opinion. What do you think about it, Steven? I thought they were really cool. Hard to fight, annoying fights, but I thought a pretty unique design. Very cool, I thought. Which Elden Ring ending did you go for? Moon. I'll leave it at that because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. Dripta with the 400. I don't know that currency, but thank you. I really wish to support you more. Super broke contribution from a student of animation in India. Your streams are super helpful for my mental health. I will absolutely do your course in the future. Dripta, don't you worry about supporting me. I am happy to contribute to your mental health and peace. Honestly, letting me know that I am helping you feel peaceful and helping with your mental health is more than enough support for me. It makes me want to keep doing it. You get the course someday, but no rush. Don't worry about it. And thank you so much for the kind contribution, the kind donation. Thank you, Dripta. Using animals as a launching off point is such a good way to get new forms to play around with. Animals just have such unique stuff going on. They're so different to each other, from each other. Now let's just make the insides blue there. Like I was talking about earlier, my tendency is always to use too many colors, introducing new ones for no real reason. It's like, I don't need to do that. What are these designs for? Is it just for fun? Everything I do is just for fun. But I'm thinking of my Pandemonium project for these in particular. But that's like secondary, honestly. I think it would be more honest to say that they are indeed just for fun. I like the two-tone look that's going on in this sketch. The thick two-tone stripes. I've seen armors like that before. I don't remember the specific names of them. I think they're even bolder when they do them though. I think it's almost inverse. It's like mostly dark and then they pick some light patches. Maybe I should have found some spots to do that. Just have like big, bold, dark areas. The heaviness of the thick stripes kind of works with the bore thing. Like it gives a feeling of like brutish solidness to this fluted fancy armor. So it's like the fluting is like thematically contrasting the hulking look, but then the bold graphics are sort of going back to it, balancing it out. At least I like to think I could maybe pull that off. Pumbaa looking hench these days. I wish I'm an old fart. What does hench mean? I love that. I love that in that context. Is that an actual slang, or are you just riffing? Does hench mean that you're like look like a henchman? That you look brutish and scary? Let's carve out some more bold, dark graphic areas. Yep, totally made it up. I'm gonna use that. I hope you don't mind, Art Apprentice. I'm totally stealing that. Ever seen the underside of a Japanese deep sea crab? Ugh, it creepily resembles a face. I'm generally disturbed by all deep sea creatures, so I'm sure it's haunting. I'll have to check it out sometime. Yeah. I love them. I think they're great, but no touchy. No touchy. Just stay away. Should we do a dark stripe up the middle here? Kind of like leaving a little bit more open space there. Must have gone right. It did. I fixed it. 0 dropped frames, nearly 3 hours into streaming. Higher bitrate than usual. Guys, we fixed it. We fixed it. You like Berserk? Your style combines so much. I have read a bit of Berserk. I did like it. I'm not really a big comics guy. I don't really like sitting around reading comics, and there's a lot of Berserk, so I just don't see it being in the cards that I'll like finish it, like go back to it. Just never had that habit of reading comics. I think something about like looking at drawings for that long really just overpowers me with like, man, you should just be drawing. Like you should just be making something, and I can't quite just sit there. Because that is an impulse that I will certainly give into. As you all know, if you've been on the stream a lot, I draw a lot. Draw a lot. Big drawer, big drawer. Drawing? Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, I've done a bit myself. You know, I'm a bit of a draftsman myself. Something of a draftsman myself. Let's do a little light value pass on him now. Stay a little zoomed out for that. We can do it on a multiply layer, and then we'll slink it down. I'm getting hungry. Getting hungry, people. But not ready to drop this yet. Drawing is much too fun. Get a big cast shadow coming from off this pauldron. Sorry, I gotta read an email. Yep. All good. Sorry, had to read that right there. Looks awesome. I like the idea of using more animalistic forms. It fits their characters. No, I'm glad. Yeah, I think animals are such a good, great launching points for character design, because they just, I don't know, I think a lot of us, we instinctually fit animals into archetypes, you know? So they're a really quick way to just give you some criteria and to go for a particular mood with a design. And then you can always subvert the archetype, like make a graceful boar, like a dancer boar or something like that, to get something more interesting. Animals are great. I also just really like animals. There was a period when I was in college where, even though I was super busy, it was in some of my busiest terms in the middle of college, to protect my mental health, I committed to going to the zoo once a week, every week, and spending most of the day there. So I would just force myself, even though I thought it was going to ruin my life, even though I thought it was going to make me miss all my deadlines and fail school. I was like, you got to go to the zoo, brother. And I would just go sit at the zoo and look at all the animals, sometimes draw them. But it was really, I was trying to take a break from all of the frantic drawing. I would just like hang out in front of the ape display, hang out with the lions, look at the giraffes for hours. Look at their forms, the way they moved. I have fond memories of that. Aren't you on the East Coast? 2 p.m. is a little late for eating. It is. I usually eat before this, but I started streaming very late because I spent all morning troubleshooting my stream, trying to fix some problems that we've had, tech problems that we've had lately. I've been doing that since 7 a.m. It took me like, when did I come on? Like 11? It's 3 hours ago. Yeah. So it took me like 4 hours to fix the stream. So I started really late. So that's why I'm on late and I'm going to be eating late. I really should be going, but drawing is just so addictive. I want to see what kind of a value scheme I can get going for this guy. Laying in some dark areas to let the highlights of the metal pop off from. Let's say the light's coming from kind of the right ish. So we'll let all these parts of the armor get noticeably darker. Gonna let myself be okay with being a little dirty here because these are still quick sketches even though I'm doing them in color. There's only so clean I could hope for them to get, so I'm gonna try to not give myself unrealistic expectations and just move quickly. Just keep it sketchy instead of pretending that I'm gonna somehow churn out something super refined in so little time. Merge that down because I'm a dare to care cowboy and I don't give an F. That's what it looks like without the lines. It's often a good idea to check what it looks like without the lines. There it is with the lines. If you turn it off and it still kind of reads, you know, you can still kind of tell what's going on without the line work there, that means you're in a pretty good place for like a value focused painting pass. I'm gonna turn those way down. Hi Zella, hola. Well, let's leave them on for now. Let's just tune it down to like 60 or something. Steven, what is your favorite paradox? Can God make a stone that he himself cannot lift? I guess that's less a paradox than it is testing the waters on if you think that is a paradox or not. Adding metallic shinies to get the high contrast feeling needed for metal. Trying to make them shapes as I put them in instead of them being random blobs, like just round blobs. So I'm making them like more triangular, more square. Trying to have them do something. Okay to be too much with them right now. It's digital, you can always pull it back. Zoos are prison for animals. All animals there are mostly depressed and not free. I don't call that therapy. If I go there, I just feel sad for these animals. I feel you, man. Let them run free. Using the airbrush on screen to do a little bit of color movement. Just a little warm light bouncing off the ground. Not really a lot of rhyme or reason, just looking for some reason to shift things. Just rubbing a little bit of blue, a little bit of green around areas. Kind of gives it a little atmosphere. Fix the contrast with the quick levels, because screen lightens everything. So it's like, it's imperceptible. I mean, if you can see it, it's because you saw me do it, but someone at first blush would never detect it, that it's slightly warmer down here, slightly greener here, slightly bluer here. Like, you'd never pick it up. It's like, only if you know what you're looking for, only if you know they did it. The Andy Bo Show. Andy Bo, how are you? Hey, Steven, I'm going to Lightbox this weekend. Any tips? Oh, good for you, man. That's awesome. Any tips? Just be yourself, man. You're great. Just show them what you got. Be kind, be personable. You ain't got nothing to worry about. And just meet as many people as you can. Sometimes you gotta be the person who brings people together, you know? Other times you could follow other people's cues, but meet a lot of people in whatever way you can. Looking hench. He's looking so hench. My piggly boy. Rub it down a little bit. Reclaim some soft transitions. Nothing like a little rub down. Oh yeah, yeah. This is not the easiest design to rub down because there's the hard painted stripes on the armor, but I also don't give a fuck, so it can be easy for me. Come to say I've learned a lot. Thank you. Hey, glad to hear you have learned a lot, Brendan. Andy Bo shows, thank you, that means a lot. Oh, come on, Andy. You the man, you got this. If I never draw traditionally, only digitally, would you still recommend taking your course? The course does have modifications for doing the assignments digitally. It is possible. A lot of people were doing the assignments all or I would say when the course first came out, the majority of submissions were digital. And interestingly enough, now it has switched. Now most of the assignments that people put in are traditional. I think maybe watching me draw in pencil for so much time in the demos is maybe making people be like, you know what? Maybe there's something to this whole pencil thing after all. Hey, yeah, you know what? I think there is something to this whole pencil thing. Whoa, 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 wait a second. Are you telling me it's fun to draw with pencil? Whoa, 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 whoa. Pump the brakes, buddy. Are you telling me that there's a way to make finished drawings cheaply on paper that's readily available without a $3,000 gaming computer? Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, hold on a second, champ, bud, friend, Zooty. Are you telling me that there's a reason that people have been drawing with pencil since the beginning of recorded time? Are you telling me that there's a reason that people like scraping a stylus against something with texture? Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm all right. Thoughts on debates? What do you mean? Like political debates? People love them. Everybody's favorite thing, a political debate. I don't know. It's not a lot of debates in art. Paulino Mendez said the word cute, and right away we got best adult dating site. Bot attack. Classic. It's hard to know what words will trigger it. Cute, naked. Actually, you know what? Maybe it's not that hard. Get a little bit of warmth here since there's going to be light bouncing up from the highlight directly underneath. Doing armor plates just abstractly, or looking for nice abstractions of them, is so fun because it just feels like doing anatomy, really. It's just seeking an interesting flow of form. You get the course. You get the course. That ragged edge can imply a, what do they call them? I think the armorers call them punched details. Kind of gives a cool, brutal, serrated look to the edge of the armor. No, it's fucking dope. God, I love drawing. It's the best. I think it's a little historically inaccurate that this character that this armor is on a pig. I think that's a little historically inaccurate. No, I think it's a little, I think when there's punch detailing on the edges of an armor plate, here it looks like it's just on the same main material as the actual plate itself. I've never seen that, at least I can't recall it. There's always it would actually be a different material, so it would be like a bronze or a gilded attachment in that area. But I think I'm just gonna leave it white. Hey Steven, do you believe in aliens? Do you believe in aliens? Yeah. Well, I mean, depends what kind of... If you're asking me if I think there's life elsewhere in the universe, yeah, I do. Like, do I believe in grays or the currently very hot UFO phenomena? I don't know. Was Bob Lazar lying? Or I guess, is Bob Lazar lying? I don't know. I don't know if I believe those particular formations, you know? It's just, it's hard to know. And there's a lot on the line. You nail metallic surfaces? Oh, thank you. It's really just, it's the same thing as, it is the same thing as designing just organic, non-metallic form. It's just you need to, if you have a solid conception of the shape you're making in your mind, it's the same thing. You just need to know a few rules of thumb for making something look metallic, and then it's actually the same stuff, same modeling factors. You get the course. You get the course. Like, I never really had to, like, besides those rules of thumb of, like, contrast and stuff like that, I never had to, like, study metal. It's just the same modeling factors and just understanding how form interacts with light. That's it. That's it, baby. Oh, it's good. And it's easy, baby. Look at the character contrast again. Long and slender versus short and chunky. Red and gold versus blue and silver. Certainly all planned out and calculated, not by sheer flow, right? Right? It's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah. Now that you mention it, it's pretty good. It is, unfortunately, all through flow, but that's nothing magical. It's just because, like, I know I've said it here a lot, right? But it's like, it does happen automatically. Even the complicated stuff, it does happen through flow. It's not happening because of flow. Flow isn't adding anything. It's not magically conjuring good design knowledge, right? It's not like you're channeling design secrets from another planet or something like that. Flow is just a removal of things, of distractions, of feeling pulled away, that allows what's in there subconsciously to easily arise. So it's It did happen in flow, but it's because this is, you know, I've been doing this for a long time, you know, and I've spent years and years having to design things hour after hour, day after day for work and things like that. It's just like, it's gonna it's gonna happen automatically when you've done that. It's also not gonna happen automatically all of the time, you know. On the next one, I'll mess it up. There won't be any, I'll be flowing out and it'll show. It won't have a nice intuitive design contrast between the characters. So what I'm trying to say is chill and draw happily, and everything will be all right in the long run. Oh boy, I see the alien talk coming up in the chat. Nobody, now you listen here. If you like gray aliens and Sumerians and Anunnaki and David Icke, you be nice about it. Don't be, David Icke's a really scary person. Don't be nice about David Icke. He's a psychopath. But you be nice about how much you love gray aliens. You guys can talk about it, but don't fight with each other about it. Nobody go fighting about, you know, about how you got abducted so you know they're real and you'll kill anyone who doesn't believe you. Like, just be cool. Be cool. We're here to draw. Not to explain the spiritual underpinnings of archetypal abduction stories and make wild free associations between the idea of gray alien surgery during an abduction and the experiences had by shamans in psychoactive plant using cultures around the world all throughout history. We're not here to do that, all right? That's not what we're... Focus on the drawings, okay? You be nice. Whoop, don't crash. We all above board? Okay, we're still good. Oh, it's just this classic Photoshop glitch. Come on. I can troubleshoot my stream all I want, but there's no fixing Photoshop. Photoshop's just too buggy to be fixed. Little strap, no indications of fabric, and a little bit of a pop out here. double up some of these lines. So easy, just throw scribbles all around, make it look a little bit more detailed. Don't have to actually draw any of the filigree. Just scribble, scribble, scribble. Keep the metal high contrast, put darks around the lights. Feel free to go fast. Paint over lines in conspicuous areas. That'll do a lot to make it feel more complete. Hey Steven, what do you do when you want to inspire yourself? You know, I don't even really think about it anymore. Like, if I'm not inspired, I'm just like, okay. Whatever. Like, I know I'll be inspired again. I don't even worry about it anymore. I'll be completely honest with you. If I'm not inspired, I'll keep working anyway. I'm happy to work uninspired. I don't care. Working itself is often inspiring, you know? Just sitting there, turning on the stream, talking to people. It's like just showing up tends to get the motivation, the inspiration going. Even if I'm not inspired, even if I'm not into it, with things like the stream, still do it because there's so much other benefit to it, you know? Keeps me in contact with people, keeps the momentum going. I get to hear stories and chat and stuff like that. And yeah, if I'm not going to do something like that and I'm not inspired, I just don't worry about it. I'm just like, maybe I'll just hang out all day. Maybe I'll go for a 4-hour walk. Maybe I'll exercise a lot today. Maybe I'll make an extra long dinner. You know? I don't really worry about it anymore. At a certain point, you have to just give yourself the pass. You know, you've got to give yourself the trophy. Like, you did it. You've proven that you're dedicated. You're always going to come back to it. You're always going to come back to drawing. Just, here's your trophy. Shut up. You don't have to prove yourself anymore. And then you can just be over it. It's like, it's coming. Your life will naturally re-inspire you. You'll see a movie, read a book, have a fight with a friend, see someone else's art, be embarrassed by something, remember something from your past, rekindle a childhood love with either a person or some piece of media. Someone will crack a joke or someone will share something that'll just put the spark in you. There's no need to force it. Or a gray alien will visit you in bed and abduct you and probe you. You'll have a halfling baby with a female gray alien. Or you'll burr the gray alien's baby. And after that happens, you'll be like, wow, I'm so inspired. I'd love to see you make a mural. I bet that'd be a treat for us if you made a video as well. It would be cool. I don't have much interest in doing that. I mean, it's just not my way of working, you know? I don't like the idea of having to work so big and having to move around a lot and all that. It might be an interesting thing to try once, but it's just not the groove that I'm in. Little fuzzy arm there. Bristly boar hair. I like doing stuff like that because I get to hatch it like I'm using a pencil. I get to hatch it! I'm gonna hatch it! Alright, here we go. Alright everybody, we have been going for a long time. I am getting very hungry. So I think I'm gonna call it now that we have the base for this guy down to sort of get the idea of what his value range and everything is. And we'll leave a little gas in the tank for next time so that if I want to continue on him, finish him up, I know what I would do next. And I do indeed know what I would do next. Go in there and work out the face, put some details on the face, get a little bit more variety into the metal reflections. Since these are concepts, I could beat them up a little bit. Like I could do a couple down reses and up reses to get some free info like we were talking about. Let's see, I'll show you guys. Let me just save. I'll undo this in a bit. But what is this at? It's 5,000 pixels high. So if we add a little noise, do this stuff when photo bashing all the time to unify photos that are coming from separate sources. Helps them look more unified. So add a little noise. We will not reduce noise when we make it quite a bit smaller. Do 2300. Very crunchy, very crunchy, very nasty, very bad. And then we can go and upscale it again. 5,000. And on that one, do reduce noise. We could get some happy accidents off of that. Kind of sharpens your strokes, blends rough areas together ever so slightly. On metal, it tends to look really nice because you get this chromatic aberration around the highlights that you'd see on a real photo of something very shiny and chrome. I don't know, I like messing with stuff like this. It always makes me happy to beat up the picture, and it gives you some free interest and noise. and it becomes like a unified soup. You know, the noise blends it all together, or makes it feel like it's coming from the same place. And then you could just paint right over it. And you can redo it again over and over. I'm gonna undo that though, because I would want to do it only to that guy. And just to demonstrate, I put this guy through a second cycle of that, which is leaving him extremely crunchy indeed. So we don't want to do that. But that's what I mean by we could put him through a couple down res, up res cycles. Close that. Away with you. So let me undo those. So that's it small, and that's it back to normal. And let's get rid of the noise, and there we go. We're back at our base painting. And this guy is okay. Yes, he looks all right. He looks slightly healthier. All right, everybody. Well, I'm very glad that we fixed stream. Not a single drop frame in these 3 hours and 36 minutes of streaming. My God, I need to go eat lunch and get going on the rest of my day. Very, very glad that we fixed stream and we are able to not have drop frames and be happy and have full normal CPU usage. I didn't feel any lag while I was doing that work, even on those giant files, even while having all of these other giant PSDs opened. I never once found myself thinking about lag or anything like that. So I think stream is fixed. Don't want to jinx it. And amazingly, it was my damn light. So I don't know what that's about, but it's real. It is real. All right, everybody. I'm going to go eat some lunch. Maybe go for a run. Damn, it's getting late. Got a few things I got to do. But click and stream off of the to-do list, my friend. All right, everybody. I'm going to head out. Happy drawing today. Very glad to do character concepts with you. This is my favorite stuff in the world to do. Just do random character concepts on a simple white background. I mean, a lot of us have love for this, but for me, this has always felt like what I did in my sketchbook since I was a kid. I never naturally did scenes or full things. I've learned how to do those things as I've refined my practice, but this is like the core of what I do with very little outside input. This is what I've done in my sketchbook since I was a kid. Just trying to get the feeling and charm of a character and draw it up nice and make it look cool. So always fun. One of my favorite things to do. All right, everybody. I will see you soon. Goodbye, Nova. Goodbye, Zelafe. Goodbye, Sword Panda 7. Panda 7. Goodbye, Shogunah. Goodbye, Owl. Goodbye, Neg Ravioli. Goodbye, Daryl Grant. Goodbye, Civil Chaos 1. Goodbye, Pedro Assisi. Goodbye, Filakoto. Goodbye, Assam Berauti, Arak 1 Ba, Felix Sembach. And goodbye, of course, to my favorite audience member, Tinderhot.xyz Cupid Heart, best adult dating site. Thank you so much for being here. And also to Tintan, Derp Fanlo, Happy Pigeon. No, Happy Pikion. The great Malenko, who actually asked, how did you take the news about Kim Jong-gi? I did a tribute stream on the day he died. You can go back and see that. It's called Let's Draw to Honor Kim Jong-gi, and I talked about how I felt. It's a damn shame, of course. All right, everybody. Much peace, much love. Happy drawing today. Take care, everybody.